everyone. Welcome back to the second episode of Riding the Wave, a podcast where people share a struggle, big or small, and what their journey was. Or in other words, how they are riding their wave. Today we have the amazing Julio Enriquez, aka Caezer. And at only 18 years old, he is an independent music producer and DJ located in the heart of the Bay Area. He is a fun-loving, hardworking, and outgoing guy with the biggest heart. So, Julio, can you say hello?
Hi. How are you guys? How are you, Rina?
I'm amazing. We're good. Julio and I, we were speaking a little bit earlier about how to set this up, and I think Julio is just, an awesome guy. So, how have you been lately? I heard that you recently graduated high school, so congratulations on that.
I've been good. It's crazy. It's crazy to me that I graduated. Like it's still crazy. It's still crazy just because time flies, and that in general it's just very crazy, and I can't believe that I'm now a freshman in college. I'm headed to community college this fall, going to Foothill, and I'm going to be majoring in music technology, which is basically music production. And I'm very happy that Foothill has a major like that. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I'm so happy for you. I remember just a year ago when I graduated high school, and it felt so surreal. I never really expected that I would actually get to a point in my life where, I'd finish, such a big chunk of it, like my childhood, and then I'm off to college. And I know you're going to community college, but still it's such an amazing step, and you're going to learn so much about music, and you're going to be in a new place. And I honestly I'm so happy for you, Julio. You don't even know.
Thank you.
Yeah, so for the audience, I guess if you don't know, Julio and I, we went to high school together, and we were in a broadcasting class. That's sort of how we met and how we became friends and everything. And honestly, Julio was just such a fun-loving guy, and he was so supportive, and it was good. It was a good time we had together. So, yeah. I guess something that Julio does is he is, like I said earlier, he's a music producer, and he has been working so hard. He's been grinding. And I guess, why don't you just walk me through a bit of how you began your music career? So I guess, what got you into it and everything?
So when I first started, it was actually on the morning announcements, but it wasn't at Gun. It was at JLS, which was my middle school. And from there, I was just like, I want to do something unique, because the morning announcements kept repeating songs. They kept just playing the same pop song over and over again. And so I was just like, okay, what I'm going to do is create a mix. And from there, I got into a bunch of electronic dance music. Some of my friends showed me. I was first exposed to it back in 2010, 2011, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But once middle school came around, I was just I want to make music. I want to know how it's like to create these songs. And so right around the summer before ninth grade, I was starting to make my own music. And I honestly did not know anything about music production. I just knew that there's this application called GarageBand, and that it has sound. That's about it.
Oh my gosh. I love it. Yeah, keep going.
But then, yeah. But then a friend of mine recommended Ableton, which is the software I use today. And he was like, it's very professional. I recommend it. I'm like, all right, I'll try it out. And so from there on, I discovered Ableton. And I was basically I have to admit, when I first started, I was just using loops. And that's a big no-no. because when I was using loops, I was just legit just using a drum sample. I was using a sound sample, and it wasn't good. Like looking back at it, I could have been more creative with how I did the whole loops because that's what sampling is. You're basically turning a sample into your own.
Yeah. Well, I
But
guess,
at the time, I didn't know that.
so I guess
Go ahead, go ahead.
for all of us non-musicians, what's Ableton exactly? Like, I don't know anything about it. Does it cost money?
So Ableton Live 10 is the recent one. It's basically a digital audio workstation where you can basically make your own music. It's like GarageBand but complex. Like you have a lot of tools to work with. You have a lot of samples to work with, and it's not just like loops. It's not loops. It's just pure like. If it's a kick drum, it's just gonna be and if it's like a snare, it's just it's not just gonna be like a on repeat. You get to make it your own rhythm and
Oh,
all that
that's
stuff.
so good.
And it provides a bunch of tools to, when I'm sound designing, which is basically using a synthesizer to create sounds. I add on other tools like a saturator, which basically compresses the sound, and it's very technical. Like I say, like it's very technical and it's very complex. But once you get into it, once you get into producing music, and like when you get into the whole software, you're just like, I get it now. And I'm not done learning because I'm still learning more about like how mixing and mastering works, which is basically finalizing the song. And yeah, it's very hectic, but once you get used to it, it's just like
I can imagine. I feel like, I guess on another note, like Julio and I have also both made videos together, and with video editing software, there's iMovie, but then there's more complicated things like Adobe Premiere and etc. And I feel like correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it's sort of the same deal. Like you start with something small, and then it sort of slowly gets more complicated. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically that. When like for me, I never used iMovie whatsoever when I came to broadcast journalism in ninth grade. Mr. Corpez, which was our teacher for broadcast journalism,
shout out to Mr. Corpus, he's great.
He's an amazing teacher. He's an amazing teacher.
I hope you guys go to Gun High School and sign up for broadcast journalism. Yeah.
So
but yeah, keep going.
It's basically that. It's basically that where iMovie is like something simple. You don't have anything too complex, and it gives you templates. Whether as to Adobe Premiere, it's like complex. You got a lot of tools to work with, and it's basically the same thing for producing music. GarageBand is the iMovie of music production.
Okay, I like that. I'm gonna quote that. GarageBand is the iMovie of music production. Yeah. So, I guess that's amazing to hear. I mean, you started so early on, and you didn't want to hear the same pop songs all the time, and I get it. Like, I feel like I remember, it reminds me when I was young, probably around your age, middle school. I remember one of Rihanna's songs, like Diamonds or something, was playing on the radio all the time, and I was starting to get so sick of it, but it never got me to think, like, I should just make my own music. That's amazing. So I guess I also, like, what do you use this music for? Like, what do you use it for?
I guess in terms of producing my own music, I use it for basically I basically use it to have fun with it and do like some special projects. I don't want to give away too much on what I'm working on right now, but like all I can say is that there's an EP or an album that is currently being worked on. And for me, I like to express myself in the form of music and, tell stories in the form of music. And for me, I produce dubstep. So it's like, some people are like, how can you tell a story with dubstep? And I'm like, oh, you can tell a story with dubstep. You really can.
Oh yeah.
Because it's not about the drop. It's about the whole song, like, and how you make the person feel with the song. So like, I want to give a good example. I have a song that's releasing in July called "Remember Me," and so it's basically related to love. Like, that's all I'll give away because like I don't want to reveal too much. But like,
I mean, you could always talk about like albums that you've already released, I guess, but that's awesome. That's amazing. And I think it holds so true. Like music can, create a feeling that I feel like can't be described by words alone, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
and I think like I get it. Like I never made my own music, but I mean, I don't even know if I ever told you, but when I was young, like I did violin, and and I know even just playing other people's music, like you could sort of tell like, damn, like they must have been really like heartbroken when they wrote this song, or damn, they must have been
Yeah.
so happy when they wrote this song, like
Yeah,
and
I guess
I think there
for
must be a lot
me,
of parallels.
yeah, like I do notice in some pop, like not to like, go at like the music, like the pop music industry, but like there are some cliches, I guess, like that you can hear in like some songs that's like, you know, someone's heartbroken and like this happened. But at the same
Mhm.
time, it's like you're telling a story. And that's what's so
Yeah.
amazing about a song is that for me when there's a song I can relate to, for example, AJR, which is an amazing group, by the way, which are like brothers that like basically
AJR.
produce like
Are
stuff
they
that it's like
are they a local artist, or is it like
I don't think they're I don't think they're local. Like they're a lot of people know them. I know that my friend Steven, my friend Julia, and basically people from like my friends from New York and Texas, like they know AJR, and they have amazing music that tells stories. This one specific song in particular called 100 Bad Days.
mhm.
The whole story is based off like, just having bad days, but in the end they become 100 good stories, which is a part of the lyrics, by the way. And you know that had a huge impact in like how like I grew up because like it just like I could pardon my stutter, but like um I could relate to it, and so that
Yeah.
music has such a huge impact.
Do you ever just listen to a song and immediately just click so hard with it?
Yeah, my friend Steven showed me this new artist that I never heard of. Like I don't know much about the artist, but his name is Wingtip, and
Wingtip.
he showed me a song called Happiness.
Hmm.
Let me tell you, that song was amazing. And like legit the first few seconds, and I'm just like, what? This dude has a like an amazing like I was freaking out. I was freaking out. And I was on a call too with him, and I was just like jumping around. I'm like, this song is so good. Wow. This song's so good already. And I was just like, yeah, and that's like for me, that's like how much music really impacts me and like how much it really hits to the core in like
That's
emotions, like for happiness and all that
amazing.
stuff.
I feel like I'm gonna have to, what remind me the name of the artist again, because you know what I'm gonna be doing after we finish up this
Yeah.
podcast.
So his name is Wingtip. It's
Wingtip.
all together. It's all together.
I'm actually getting out a whiteboard right now and I am writing this down. Wingtip
And so the
happiness.
song, yeah, the song's really good. And I think he released a new song called Strangers. I don't know if that's correct, but I remember listening to it and it was really good.
That's amazing. This is all just this whole podcast, this whole writing. It's just a secret ploy to get good music recommendations. Just kidding. So, oh my gosh. So far, I've heard just amazing things. So, Julio, I guess, as a musician, I can only imagine that it takes thousands of hours of dedicated time to create your songs. And I know we were talking a little earlier that sometimes have you have to deal with lack of creativity. And I just, I wonder what's that like, or would you mind just guiding me through that a little bit?
Yeah. So it does take 1,000 hours, not literally, but like about to create a song like and finish it, like have the final product done. It takes around like 3 months at minimum and about a year at most to create a song or more. like I know artists that have created like a song that has been like in the works for 2-3 years. Um, but when in terms of lack of creativity, when I'm working on music, yeah, it becomes really hard just because like whenever I'm just like I'm working on a song and then all of a sudden I'm just like, what do I do next? Like, I have the fundamentals down. I have the foundation of like how I'm gonna do the song, but at the same time it's like creating the melody is very hard and I start stressing out and I'm like, I can't do it. And like, which is a bad thing. Don't say you can't do it because you can't. Like, you have to have that positive mindset of
Always
like,
can. Even if
yeah,
you think you
exactly.
can't, you still can.
Yeah, you can always do it. You just gotta push yourself like a
Yeah.
little.
But like
But
sometimes when you're in a, I guess, a lower down place, like you don't really realize that, right?
yeah, and I guess it's called writer's block. And so when I'm just like in writer's block, I'm just over here like trying to listen to like other music and try to get inspiration from that. Or I just like take a break, which is like what I'm doing currently right now. I'm actually taking a break from producing music to like collect myself and also to spend time with my family. Which by the way, getting breaks is important. Back on
Yeah.
topic.
No,
But
no worries about that. I think taking breaks, honestly, for literally everything, like
mhm,
working on
for
music,
sure.
working on a book, like literally any single thing that takes work also in turn requires a break. Like, I mean, and now I'm
Yeah.
just going back to like, thinking back. Now I'm just going back to the book of Genesis and like the Bible, and God created the world in 6 days, and what did He do on the seventh day? Like He took a break. So honestly, sometimes like I don't know what people like faith is, and it doesn't matter. But I think that sometimes when I'm so overwhelmed, I just think, what, like even even this higher power, which I happen to call God, and took a break too, like so.
And
So
it's important to take a break for like give yourself time, because I remember I was reading the Bible, and I remember that there's this one part in the Bible. I don't know the exact quote, but like the whole general sense of it is like, like, oh shoot, I lost my train of thought.
the
Um
general says like people taking a break or
yeah, it was related towards like taking a break and getting proper rest. Like
yeah,
you will find true rest, because like people sleep, people will like rest your bodies for like 8 hours, but with God you will find true rest. Like let Him guide you to true rest.
yeah, that's really amazing, and I think that you know I mean I don't want to come across as like a preacher or something, but because like who knows what kind of types of faith people have. Like I want people of all kinds to be able to listen, but I think regardless of whether or not you believe in anything, or even if you're atheist, Christian, Jewish, Muslim, regardless, everyone like breaks. Bottom line, breaks are important.
Yes, breaks are important. And I
Yeah,
guess with lack of creativity, when you need to give yourself a break to have headroom for
yeah,
creativity, because
yeah,
when your head's full, when you're like quote quote metaphorically full, I guess, you're just
hmm,
like, you just have to like lay back, you just gotta relax, not not stress.
yeah,
And I guess that's what helps me get out of that lack of creativity.
yeah,
And yeah.
absolutely. I know like some I know like some of my family is Jewish, and I know a lot of people who are Jewish, and I know they like some people observe the Sabbath and like they just completely unplug from like every kind of thing that could possibly like add to their lives. And I think that's kind of like I haven't done that, but I think that that's kind of cool. So I guess getting back on track, amazing. So like lack of creativity. you're already kind of thinking of ways to go through that. But I know, like lack of creativity is difficult enough, but I guess
Mhm.
I'm curious, what is the hardest thing you've ever gone through in music? And I wonder, like, how did that, like affect you emotionally?
So I guess the hardest thing I went through in music was, well, again, finding that like creativity, but also, with the mindset that I had a few years ago of me like this like goes into a deeper topic like of depression. Uh, I had depression and that really affected my like how I worked on like music. That was a very big struggle. And although it isn't really music related, at the same time it is, because in terms of working on music, it's just hard. It's just hard when your mind is spiraling like and just overthinking so much. And it really took a toll on me because it came to the point where, and like this is where it gets personal. So like um it got to the point where I started having panic attacks and I started like having minor hallucinations. And so from there I got therapy to like help me get out of that. And from therapy and also realizing like outside of therapy, I started realizing like, a lot of things as well. I started to learn how to not overthink. I started to like learn how to control like all the negative things and like be like, hey, negativity can go that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
and it took a while. I can't say that, overnight I healed. It really took a lot of time. And I guess looking back on it, I'm actually it sounds weird, but like I'll explain why. Like I'm actually kind of grateful that I went through that because it was an amazing lesson that I was taught to learn how to be able to handle negativity and handle, criticism and like people saying, "Oh no, your music sucks," and this and that. Because I have gone that in the past, like where people are like, "Why do you make that music? Can't you just make like, hip hop?" And I'm like, no, like, which I mean, for me, I want to produce all genres. If I'm being honest,
Mm-hmm.
because it's an amazing thing. Like, producing all genres is like it really expands your knowledge on producing music.
Yeah, and I think, well, gosh, Julio, thanks. I mean, just, wow, thanks so much for saying all that. And I think it's so mind opening. Like, even me, like I've known you for a while, and I I just think it's amazing to hear all these stories, and I wish I had more of like a cohesive response to this. But it reminds me that something that kind of stuck out was when you said, I'm actually kind of grateful that I had that experience, because I myself, like, um in the fall up till the spring of my senior year, I actually went through an episode of depression myself. I'd go home and I would feel like I couldn't see things clearly. Like it felt like the world was less saturated, felt like I was seeing gray, and everything just felt terrible, and it was all in my head. And I would try so hard to put on a cheerful, enthusiastic impression, and didn't want to, like get people to think that I was anything less. Um, and it made me, I guess it was so draining, and I felt less creative too. And I just, oh my gosh. So, um, I wonder how, like, were you still able to produce music and all that even through your episode of depression and everything? Or like, did that stop you at all? Or how did all that go?
Well, it did stop me. Um, it did stop me a bit, but I didn't let it. affect like, how my workflow is, and with the mindset that I had, the mentality of like, no, like I'm not gonna let this affect me. That like I didn't have that mindset when like I first had this, like when I had like huge depression.
Yeah.
And so it was very rough, but over time I trained myself to keep working, keep pushing, and stay positive. Like positivity is key.
Mm-hmm.
Positivity is always key. Which is
Positivity.
what plur, which is plur, like which is an correct me if I'm wrong when saying the word acronym. Like like the words are like are like IDK, like I don't know.
That's an acronym, I think. An acronym.
Yeah. I think it's an acronym. So the acronym plur is peace, love, unity, and respect.
Oh my gosh. Writing that one
like,
down.
like that the whole plur community with people giving peace, love, unity, and respect. It is amazing. And so I run on positivity. I love being positive. I love giving positivity and like, spreading that. And
Julio is one of the most positive guys I ever know. Just saying.
you always gotta keep it positive. You always gotta keep it going. You always gotta keep that grind on. And that's what I did. I like this senior, like the second semester senior year,
oh my gosh.
I was hit hard, like very hard with depression, to the point where like I actually did not listen to music at all.
Oh
like,
my goodness.
For me, like I always listen to music. Let me tell you that. I always listen to music.
Yeah.
For me, not listening to music, it's like something's wrong.
Yeah.
And so
oh, sorry. Yeah. Keep talking.
So like for me it was just like I felt like I did something wrong. I felt that I just felt like I was like done for. I felt like I was just like not worth anything. And I just felt that, I just felt like I just couldn't go on anymore, like with music. And so I was just like, I was near the point of giving up on producing.
Oh my god.
Then there's this one day where it just clicked to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, like basically what I said earlier about like, no, I'm not going to let this affect me any longer. I'm going to get better. I'm going to improve, like become a better person than I was yesterday. And from then on, I kept growing as a person. I kept learning as a person. And I just kept understanding like, more about positivity, more about that whole mindset that I have. And, just keeping it positive, always keeping it positive.
Yeah, really. Plur. So I guess, can I ask, when you said you had that episode of depression during the second half of senior year, which if you didn't know, like Julio just graduated, he just finished being a senior. And the second half of senior year means during the semester when we were all sent home, all kicked out of school. Was this during or before the pandemic really started to?
This is actually before.
Okay.
Because like, schoolwork is piling up. I had econ. Let me tell you, that class was hard. Let me tell you that. But that's because I had the mindset of I couldn't do it. And so like this is what one of my teachers told me about. Like they said, you have that mindset of like you think you can't do it, but like you can. And once quarantine was like put in place, I was like, wow, I actually can do it. I've just been doubting myself this whole time. That's where I started to change my mindset and started to get better as a person,
That's actually really amazing. I mean, you'd almost think that quarantine would cause you'd almost think it would be the opposite. Like, you know what you were doing when you were around, and then being in quarantine, be like, oh shoot, like, I don't know what I'm doing, like, all that, like, I don't know. It's kind of what was running in my head. And I guess, Julio, I'm just curious, which teacher gave you that good piece of advice?
Well, there were many teachers that gave me pieces of advice for mindset, but I guess the one that was pushing me more there were a few. So there was Mr. Corpez, which is the journalism teacher. There was Miss Linsdale and Miss Lee, which were the econ teachers.
Oh yeah.
They were pushing me to become better. Like at first I didn't see it because they were just like, hey, you gotta fix what you're doing. And I'm just like, no, because it's right. And they're like, no, it's not. And so I just kept pushing that away up until quarantine came. And I understood that I need to get better.
Yeah. Actually,
and so that's why I did.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Sorry for constantly cutting you off.
It's okay. It's okay. I guess just like when they kept pushing me, they were just like, you know, you can do better. You don't need this. You don't deserve to settle for a C. You deserve an A. And so I was just like,
sometimes you gotta get that little push, and then that, like, it doesn't feel good. Like, it really doesn't feel good. But then, like, it pushes you into, you know, a better future. And I was gonna say, I actually did have the same econ teachers as you when I took econ my senior year. Funny enough.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, they really want to push you to be better. Mr. Corpus did the same thing. He wants you to be better.
Absolutely. He was pushing me so hard. I actually remember, as a brief side note, I was really struggling on a video I was making for my broadcast class, which Julio and I were in together. I guess, I don't know what I say, last year or 2 years ago now. I don't know. Which Julio and I were in together, and I was struggling so hard on a video. I couldn't figure out, like, it was constantly, you know, the person I was interviewing kept on canceling. And what ended up happening was I ended up making a video poem called Change, which I actually put on this YouTube channel a while back, and it ended up being one of my most popular videos, and it all happened because I was struggling. So I think that it just shows that going through some kind of struggle really allows for amazing things to happen.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I guess now, as far as my production skills go, it has improved. Like over quarantine, I just like wanted to get better. You know, I wanted to get better. I wanted to like just become a better person. I want to improve on my music. I want to get I want to get more serious on my music career. And, you know, that's exactly what I did. I kept pushing, and, you know, this is actually the first year that I've gotten anything past 100 plays, which is shocking to me. So it's just like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Do you see yourself being like a professional musician and as a career?
For sure. I strive for that. I want to get to that checkpoint because, like, my goal is not to only become professional, but also help others with, like, those who are struggling with, you know, the arts in general, not just music, but, like, you know, painting and all that other stuff.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So I guess one last thing is, what advice would you give to those who, you know, struggle with creativity or the arts, expressing themselves, or, you know, if they face depression, all those things that we covered? If you met someone who was kind of going through the same struggles as you are, like, what advice would you give? Because I think there are so many people who have struggled with creativity or expressing themselves or have had times of depression. Like, what would you tell them?
Well, to give advice for those that are going through depression, just know that your family is there to support you and help you, that your friends are there to support you and help you. And, you know, I'll have to admit, not every day is colorful, but, you know, we got to keep pushing for that positivity. We got to keep We gotta keep that grind going. We gotta become better than we were yesterday. And we will overcome depression. Like, let me be real with you. You will overcome it, and it may not happen overnight. It may not seem that you will overcome it, but trust me, you'll overcome it. You'll get past that obstacle. And as far as music production goes, or anything in the arts in general, if you struggle with creativity or anything in general, like trying to express yourself, don't be hesitant to be yourself. Like, have fun with your work. Really have fun with your work.
That's really good advice, and I think that there's so many people who go through these kinds of things. I know for a fact that I've in the past, or sort of now, but really especially in the past, when I was actively making videos, like I would go through creativity, lack of creativity. And I think it's just so important that people realize that there is support and that there are people who will support them all the time, like no matter what, and to really just have fun with what you're doing. Like, music is your passion, and you should have fun with it, not let it become something that is anything but fun. I guess that's how Julio rides his wave. Thanks again, Julio, so much for hopping on to this podcast and sharing your story.
No problem.
Absolutely. So just so you know, you can find Julio on Instagram and Twitter at I am Caezer. Caezer is spelled kind of funny. It's Caezer. So I am Caezer. I'm sure he'd be so thankful beyond words if you listen to some of his music, and his music tells so many stories. So just as a little shout out to my buddy Julio, he's out there, he's working hard, and
we always grinding. Every day we always working.
We're always working, but we got to take breaks sometimes. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Julio, do you have any last words that you want to share before we kind of wrap up this episode?
This is Caezer, and you guys are riding the wave.
Aw, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
You so much, Rina. Thank you so much for having me, honestly.
Oh my gosh. Honored. Oh, I'm honored too. I wish I could give you a hug right now. Yeah, so Zoom kind of made the audio sound kind of funny. But if you ever have any struggles, no matter how big or small, please know that they are valid and beautiful. And I will catch you all on another wonderful episode of Riding the Wave. Thanks so much, and
bye, guys.
Bye. I'm gonna FaceTime you now, Julio. I'm gonna end this, and I'm gonna FaceTime you because that was awesome.
All right.
Okay.
High five.
Okay.
High five.
Woo!